I never expected a video game to change my life, but Chivalry 2 really has because I never really was a big gamer until this. The community's really given me a lot, and I've made friends for life. And this is really an experience I'll never forget because if you didn't hear, Torn Banner has announced the end of Chivalry 2 content support. And this is a little emotional. Like, it has given me a lot, a YouTube channel, and internet friends. It was a concept really foreign to me that internet friends can be such a real kind of friendship and relationship to you. But it's been so real, guys. I'm so appreciative. I'll still be around the community. I'll still be playing. Join the Discord if you want to interact. I'm still around. But as far as content goes, my channel's been thriving with Soulsborne and Elden Ring stuff. So we're saying goodbye to Chivalry 2. These will be my top 10 best games. I may have another video coming where it's all my games in one video, but as for now, this is it. It's been real. Love you guys.
What's going on, guys? It's Seany Salami. Today we're doing a Longsword game where we're playing with Swagmar. He's a fellow content creator with an even bigger channel than mine, so I really suggest you guys check him out. And neither of us died in this game. Usually Deathless runs are pretty rare, but having two in one game is pretty nuts. And let's call a spade though. It was way too in our favor with team balance. It really didn't work out too well for the other team. And by the way, the game will fill up by probably the second objective. But I decided to put this up regardless of the balance being too far in our favor, because as I've told you guys, I've been trying to dedicate myself to better positioning in this game. And I think that was why I went Deathless in this, just as much as that balance factor. We got some coaching from our good friend Help Me Steppo, who's in the Discord, which of course will be in the pinned comment. We have a trainer role for people that are really good at helping and patient. They'll definitely help you improve as a player, and that's what I've been trying to mean to do lately. It's really been encouraging to see that just from an hour of him helping me, that I saw the results almost immediately, and it kind of changes how I approach almost every fight I go into, like this one. I am going to be gatekeeping the information he gave me because I do want you guys to join the Discord, and quite honestly, it's a little bit much to explain just in a video. But definitely come check out the Discord in the pinned comment, and we're always willing to help and group up with just about anyone as long as you fit our vibe. Doesn't matter the skill level or anything like that. Now Swagmar is going to tell you that he got 100 bomb when he went Deathless, but he went on the catapult. This is where you can mostly find him on stages like this. Personally, I never use that thing, and I honestly kind of hate that he uses it so much because he's too good to be doing that. And I would consider that 100 bomb invalidated by Stolen Valor. Let's get into the gameplay where you're finding me way far back. I'm trying to bandage up and get back up to that battering ram. But to be honest, now that I'm working on that positioning, we're temporarily putting a hold on doing the objective too hard. I always want to get that done towards the end, but especially when I'm grouped up with people like this, that's another reason, is that it kind of can end the game too quickly. We want to enjoy it, especially when it's a good map like Lionspire. Also grouped up with Mofucka. I started talking to him after he farmed me in that last video, as you guys saw. And we're also playing with Dr. Funyuns, who's one of the original supporters of the channel. He was around here from the very beginning, and we see these guys emoting and having fun. So instead of killing him, we're going to let them do that and go on our merry way. Never kill the guys who are just out here like vibing, especially bards. If you do that, I will probably teabag you. Our biggest threat to going Deathless is siege equipment, especially when Swagmar's on it, because if he's going to see me surrounded by enemies, I'm sure he's going to pad his stats and take that team kill just to kill 3 people. You know how these siege equipment people think, even if they are good friends, they're all about the numbers, and that's that. I always see an opening alongside a lot of teammates, so we're going to make that push to start getting the battering ram a little closer. This is classic Torn Banner, where his attack should have hit me, I think, but I do a good job of getting behind to his back and getting that overhead in to secure the kill. Here I'm going to try and finish that fight, but we get some really good help right there, and we're going to heal up and get right back on that battering ram, again being careful of selfish siege equipment users. If you've watched me play Lionspire before, you guys know that I've often talked about this stage. The catapult is really just going to do the work for you on the city gates. You don't need to be on that battering ram because you're likely going to get killed. Again, I am kind of harping on the siege equipment, but it is a thing. So I kind of just fight off to the sides and get kills, because as long as they're not pushing all the way up to your catapult, it really is going to get the job done itself. There's no point in putting yourself in harm's way. Other good thing you can do if you're trying to go on these Deathless runs, or at least stay alive, is fight on this left side of the wall when you're facing it, or the left side of the battering ram, because there is a ballista up top on that wall that can kill you from very far away and not much you can do about it. This is a little risky, but I do want to help my teammates out. They look to be overwhelmed, and look at that. The ballista I talked about just almost killed me, but luckily it goes off for a miss. So I'm going to go back to where I was originally positioned now. Now at this point I even message him, can you just hit the gate, because I really have noticed that I'm on a kind of fire right now, and the fact that I haven't died is really going to be a good sign that I could go Deathless. That's when I start feeling it pretty early on this map, and I don't understand why he's just not hitting the gate. So I did send him a message, as I said. So right here, he's almost going to kill me, which I would have just lost my mind if that happened. Because the thing about this game is nobody is looking at your stats. Unless you're screenshotting it for everyone to see your high KD. At the end of the day, no one really cares. There's no leaderboard or anything. So when I look at mine and get frustrated, it's because I'm trying to improve as a player, even before I've kind of done this. But when you're just trying to farm kills with a catapult, I'll never understand that. Again, I'll drop it after this because it becomes mostly irrelevant from this point forward when there's only the ballista. But it's just a little rant I'm going on, and I think this point is actually when I'm sending them the message, because you can see I'm just standing here. So I'll actually leave that in. As much as I want to get those stragglers and pile up the kills, I am a little cautious to run in too quickly, because that's kind of one of the positioning things I'm working on, and it kind of does lead to a revive of teammates. After a heal, we're going to find some guys turned around engaged with our teammates. Stepbo was telling me that this is a good time where you want to use your special attack for the free hit, but I just miss it so much with the weapons I use, like the Great Sword, Messer, and Longsword, that I really don't bother enough, but it's something I should probably work on. Even getting behind here does finish the fight, but it feels a little too aggressive because you never know when the enemy can be just coming right at you, especially in that spot when there's no way to see around the corner. Now, what's more important than a Deathless run is backing up your boys, and I see 3 friend icons here. Charging Horseman joined part way through as well. Forgot to mention him. He was #1 on War Axe when Chiv stats was a thing. So we're not going to back up and run away, because there are some things, as I said, more important than the numbies, and one of those is dignity. So you stay put and you hold tight, you fight with your guys. Typical archer vulture tries to go after me during a heal, but we're going to swat him away like a fly. They don't know how to fight, even when they are in melee. Nice flank here. The other team was letting this happen a little too much, but they did have their hands full again, and a spawn wave is going to come in. You always want to be cautious of those. So we know one's going to come from that left, and that's why we didn't stay behind them. We kind of start to engage up front with our team. Here I backed up to try and fake that I was leaving and get back into the fight, but it looks like they actually got caught up with another team. So now at this point I am going to go for that heal, and we're kind of getting sick of that archer looking at us, so we're going to heal completely up, deprive him of that kill, also keep the Deathless run going. This guy's not an archer, so I'm going to put him out of his misery. I don't know what kind of beef they had. It's always fair to do that if someone teabagged you, or if it's an archer you're kicking on the ground, but I didn't want to see that. It feels dirty to just let that happen, so I kill him and we move on. We're going to back up here and go for a heal. We don't see any friend icons just yet, so I didn't think it was worth it to help. Again, this is something I haven't been doing in the past videos, but that's something Stepbo has been teaching me. I'm name dropping him a lot just because he's someone that's hopefully going to get me into competitive, but also is coaching the positioning. So if it was a friend icon, I would have made the wrong choice to help regardless and die. But when a teammate's out of position, it's not always on me to try and help them. I always see an opening where the town square can really be held, and we have numbers in here, so we're going to do our best to stay in the center of it and try and avoid too much combat, just because I do want to get that Deathless run going. But we're going to get, this archer is just not stopping, so we are going to put ourselves out on a limb, kind of getting a little bit of a risky spot, but we kill him. He's going to stop shooting us like the pest he is, and now we're going to get back down here and help the team more. So with these two stages done without siege equipment, I'm pretty confident I can secure this Deathless run, especially with the other team not being as good. The balance is too far in our favor, and I think around this point is when some of them even start leaving, and we got some hate in the PC chat is what I heard. But Lion Spire is the map I've done this the most on, not just in videos, even before I made them or recorded them. It's just pretty funny because I think it's because I do this map the most. If it comes up, I'm not going to leave or rage quit like I have known to do a little bit. And this is when I start to, as I said, the bridge part and this last objective really are much easier if you play your cards right. Look at all these friend icons. It's beautiful to see. This game is just so much better with friends. I've said this before, throwing fire behind the enemy is very smart to do, but it is very infuriating when you're in a group fight and you didn't see the person throw it, and then you're going to back up right into it. It's the smart strategy and the right thing to do, but it doesn't make it any less annoying to get caught by it. This is very annoying. I get hit by an archer and then my arm cut off, so I'm pretty pissed off at this point. But I've played this game way too much because I realized right away that there's a fire I can jump onto where the death will be like not counted for, and I've run all the way back to it. This game really can be annoying when it feels like you did everything right and an archer is going to shoot you and then you get your arm cut off. It's just such bad luck for that to happen at once. Now, as I'm jumping into it, I'm actually going to get a forward spawn, and then I'm not even going to have to wait for that fire to kill me. So I do that. Pretty funny stuff. I mean, I think this is a little unfair that this is a mechanic, but I do benefit from it here, and now I'm really cooking at this point.
It is funny because Deathless runs don't matter too much in the grand scheme of things, but I did want the clickbait title for you guys and to get that content views out of it, because the zero death run is always fun. I've just done it enough times now that it doesn't exactly excite me like it used to in a gameplay perspective, but you know, content's content. I'm a little addicted at this point. More fire here just being the bane of my existence. Nothing better than a free archer kill, especially those one-shots when you could overhead heavy attack with the greatsword, which is almost always a one-shot to them. I think you do have to hit them in the head for some kind of multiplier, because there has been times I've only done 90 damage. What can also really help a Deathless run is when the team does really get the objectives done pretty quickly and the map goes fast. Not exactly rocket appliances that if the map ends quickly, you have a better chance of not dying the whole time. You'll get less kills, obviously. Now let's use a catapult like Swagmar did, but I digress. Nice group fight here where I'm kind of trying to position myself in a smart way. Again, I do back up a little bit. It doesn't feel great. We get right back in there with our friend icons. And we're going to kill the people flanking from behind, pick them off a little bit because they did overextend. I noticed I'm checking the scoreboard a lot. It is pretty funny I could do that more than usual in this game, but I did want to make sure Swagmar was Deathless as well.
We're having a lot of trouble pushing up at this point, so I'm going to back up when I get low health and heal. This is a little new to me, but if I'm going to start doing competitive play, I don't want to fall into too many bad habits from just doing team objective matchmaking too much when there's no standalones going. It, again, doesn't feel great because that was going to be a sure death right there. But again, it's going to be a whole different game when I get into this, and I got to start working on the little things. Now I'm pretty confident we're going to be able to get this win. Everybody's around the trebuchet. Pretty funny stuff that we both were able to do this. Again, I'm not even going to show his stats because he did commit stolen valor with the catapult use. Mine will be shown at the end though. Now we're going to do this nice little team fight, pad our stats with the Warhorn. And this is a little new to me, playing a little softer, but it is going to lead to more like good habits, as I said. And we're going to secure that win. And if you guys want to check out that first competitive game I did, I'll link that as well. Love you guys. See you in the next one. What's going on, guys? Seany Salami. I'm going to do the shout-outs as I go this time, and I love you guys. Just, you know that. I tell you every video, will not get tired of it. But this was a standalone server with a lot of the console sweatlords like myself. And it's interesting because I think a lot of the people who watch this think I'm one of like the best players because I have a platform that aren't familiar with the community. And in this lobby, everyone is as good as me or much better. I'm really not one of the best players. I'm just kind of building a platform. I'm not to sound cocky, I am very good, but it's really not the case. So I'm going to show the scoreboard when I die, just so you guys get a feel for what this is like. And you can kind of see how I stack up against like other elite top kind of players. Mostly console, but you know, it's not a comp event. It's just, it was fun. So let's get into the gameplay. Here I taunt because, you know, that's what I always do. Here's Jester Red. He was like basically the other team's captain, leading them. Everyone loves Jester, the community's most beloved dude, and he was shaking off the rust the last like week since he's been back because he was on a break. But this game is when it looked like he put it together. I think he topped their whole team by a pretty big amount. It was pretty cool to watch. Everyone loves pub stomping, but it's really fun to see how you stack up against other top players like this. And it was pretty cool. So I went with the Longsword because number one in a lobby where every player is good is positioning. I learned quickly it's really not about like how you counter your mechanics, and I'm mostly focusing on where I am at all times and then using the weapon I'm most comfortable with instead of just going with the Messer or the Greatsword. Here's one of those autopilot moments when, like, I don't even know what I was doing. I was swinging when I didn't even have initiative. Like, it's kind of funny to look back on that. So, we're going to get a good decapitation here and go say hi to all our good friends at the spawn wave. Here I do make the mistake. I'm still adjusting to every player being good, like I said. So I kind of just go aggressive and don't expect someone to be target switching. And I keep making a few mistakes because I'm so used to the content game and trying to farm all these videos for everyone that when every player is good, basically what I'm saying is you can't just rush in like that. I had a longsword. I should have been stabbing, picking my spots, and fighting as a team instead of trying to be the hero. And I was glad I recorded this because the video yesterday where I played with my friend Ace and we tried to carry that team did very well so far, and people were really receptive to it. It's been awesome to see that you guys like to just... Billy Witch Doctor in the Discord pointed this out. And the Discord's pinned below, like I said in the beginning of the video. but it's not all about just monster gameplay and good stat lines. It's interesting to see that you guys do like to watch for me, which really has been awesome, and I love it. So like if I have a game where I struggle or don't play well, but you like the commentary, it means a lot that you guys appreciate that almost more than if I was like getting 100 kills and being an idiot and a troll. So again, it's hard for me to make these without gushing about you guys at some point. I'm just very appreciative, and that Discord, like I said, will be linked below. Here I actually last pretty long in a 1vx. I was surprised to see that. Can't blame that guy for throwing the fire pot though. Fighting 3 people, I'm gonna die anyway. Now we just pad our stats a little bit. I think that's 2 kills from behind I'm about to see. They should have taken the forward spawn. It's not really their fault, but you can't really pass off easy kills like that, can you? So right here, I'm hesitant to go up there just because it doesn't seem like it is really realistically we're gonna get to the explosives. So I cleared these guys out and stick with the team. Like that's gonna be a theme. I'm gonna say that a lot because I know a spawn wave is gonna be coming soon. So now we move up with the spawn wave. I think they're behind me, and it just makes a lot more sense to do that because if you're it's not even about keeping your deaths low for yourself and trying to, you know, like I always talk about, put up monster stat lines. You play for the win first, and you're not helping your team when you're dead. You're not in the game. So even little things like that, like staying alive, it's not just don't think of it as a selfish thing. You are helping the team when you're alive. That simple. Now we're just trying to push people off of the explosives so that we could, you know, we're pushing them back. We may die a little bit, but this is a good example of where it makes sense to, because if they're killing me, even though I did just kind of go on a rant about the spawn wave, the tower did seem close enough where it was a kind of a calculated risk where maybe we can still get that explosive off. What's really cool about this lobby when it's a lot of the good players is there's way less archers, so I was even able to heal or head towards the bandage card, I forget which, and I don't get shot immediately in the back. And also I'm not as big a target with my cosmetics because there's other people wearing flashy things. There's other level 1000s with those heraldries. So it's really nice when you're just it's one of those things. It's like, I'm gonna sound like I'm repeating myself, but these lobbies are just so much fun in a different way. Because like I said, it's just every player is good and basically every kill is earned is essentially what it comes down to. I'm behind on my shoutouts, I just realized. So this dude with the right here is Dirty as Ninja. that was the footman running around. He works overnights and he's a nurse, so make sure you thank him for his service in the comments. Ninja, thank you for your service for all you do. Then we have a regular in my videos that you've probably seen, West. He's off to my left. Thank him for his service as well because he works nights. And then we're fighting alongside Slimy Sligger right now. A very big troll, but also a very funny guy. A very awesome dude, though. He means well. Just if you see him trolling, don't take it personal. And he has been working 70 hours a week, so give him your thoughts and prayers in the comments if you can. Here we're on a nice streak, but you'll never guess what happens next. Here we have an autopilot moment where I just ran in, but we somehow survive. I think it's because we captured it at that last part, or last few moments, and then I'm able to get away thanks to some really good teammates. And here we get in a pretty cool fight, and the one-handed sword is actually doing me really well. It's kind of annoying. I would have liked to keep fighting that guy one-on-one. The archers kind of ruin it. You know, they ruin everyone's time, but I'm curious what sidearm people usually run with the longsword, because I feel like it kind of cancels it out to just take a one-handed sword. I usually take the mace, but it's a weapon I've really been vibing with. I might do a video just with the one-handed sword at some point. Here with the Pumpkinhead, that's Kool-Aid Man, one of the essential glue guys of the friend groups and like Discord circles, and also a good player. Just tell him to stop using the glaive, because if he didn't use the glaive, he might be the best player in the game, but he just has this like loyalty to it that none of us understand.
What do you want?
Not much going on as I just continue to throw myself at the objective and die. Let's see if it changes though, because I honestly don't remember. I know this guy, that's why I teabagged him. I honestly have no clue what's going on, but lately I have not been able to hear the footsteps in the game that well. I really hope I'm not going deaf, so we get killed from behind.
We will not fall for the king right by you, brother. Thanks for the hand. Oops.
So unfortunately, we're not able to get it done. It was a really hard fought game. Jester did awesome on the other team. Jester Red, he killed it. And it was a fun one. This lobby was amazing. I love these dudes. Almost all of them I'm friends with. It's just been awesome playing with them and everyone being back together. We're doing our best to keep this game alive despite Torn Banner's best efforts, guys. And I think we're succeeding because it's just, I don't know. I love you all that have watched. I appreciate the subscribers or even the lurkers. And Discord is in the linked comment. Thank you so much. Bye. What's going on, guys? It's Seany Salami. Today we're doing something extremely different. If you read from the title, this is borderline competitive play. You guys gave me some feedback that you loved the standalone servers and that step up into the BE community night with Equilibrium, where every player is good. This is another level. It's not competitive at the point where there's PC players involved, but it's Xbox versus PlayStation. Really cool event put together by Immense World, and on our end, Sir Bonk Bonk. It was very fun. There's a lot of heavy hitters in this lobby. It's two Fallmire games, one we attack, one we defend, and here I do a great job getting the objective done. I'm sure some of you egomaniacs are going to point out in the comments that this is not competitive play, but it's going to be as close as it gets to that, in my opinion. So I will be talking about it in the sense that it is kind of like that, because there is calls going on. If you look right here, for example, everybody's grabbing a petard and throw it. It's just a whole different world right now. And what was really cool was the Byzantine Empire and Equilibrium community night really prepared me for this. And I didn't get any warm-up game in or duels in beforehand. I just jumped in as a fill-in because at the last minute I think they needed someone. Standalone servers, I am often at near the top of the board. I wouldn't say I top it like every time by any means, but in this, I am just a guy, and that's what made it really fun. It's completely different, as I said. You're not going to go getting your 50 kills and put like playing for monster stats. What you're doing is playing for the win, and I did everything I could to make myself valuable, and I did think I did a good job of that, as you guys will see. I just want to say much love to every single viewer, even if you've never talked and you're just watching. This has been crazy to me, and I just absolutely love that you guys are invested in me as a person and just loving the content, not necessarily just for the tips. And you've really kind of watched me on a journey to get more competitive, which is where we're kind of heading. It's always going to be for the casuals first and foremost, don't get me wrong. But especially the people that have been here day one just supporting, like Hervis, people like that, I will name drop him because that's the Discord little brother, which will be in the pinned comment. We'll be getting into the gameplay now, and I'll be talking about call-outs that were going on. I will be name-dropping people in the game because they're very known in the community. You guys have seen all these guys, so I don't think they mind shout-outs when they've made great plays. But really, I was so focused on trying to do well, I had to ask these guys who made each play, so it was pretty funny. You're so kind of playing for the win here. Kills aren't even mattering to me because I know I can't kill carry is what they called it for the really heavy hitters in combat. And I really did think that I had to go for the Messer here because that's my best weapon. I talk about retiring it, but I have to do everything I can to pull my weight. And this was my strategy. This was number one. I would always love to hear feedback from players on what they do in competitive lobbies. But when I was especially on defense, which you'll see later, you're going to see times I'm not even in combat. I'm just staying alive, hanging back. Like, for example, on these cages. When I'm defending, I'll just be hanging back, not fighting. I'm trying to stay alive, be an extra body if someone comes in deep. I don't even know if that was the right thing, but my mic was muted as I do have a rage problem when I play this. At times, it does happen. Now, right here, we're using the Greatsword on Officer, so we have access to the Warhorn, of course. This was a little bit of a problem and a little bit of a wake-up call for how coordinated this gets. Is I used one a little earlier, and some people were annoyed. Not over the top. They were cool about it, don't get me wrong. But it's even down to that micromanagement of keeping people alive where you want to get as much heals as possible. So while I would say I've gotten a lot better with the Greatsword, and for my ego as a content creator, you know, I'm very full myself sometimes. I did want those points, I'll be honest, and I didn't want to be seen near the bottom of the board. I finished middle of the pack, maybe lower half, and went positive in both games. I'm okay with that because I think with this video, you guys will see that I made myself valuable as I could, and everybody did what they should to get the game pretty close. I'll leave the win or loss up to you guys to see. A big struggle of mine as a casual TO player is I'm doing a lot of team damage and I'm not getting a lot of team damage. As a casual TO player that doesn't really do duels and stuff like this, I'm less precise, but even more so, if people get in my way, it's become a bad habit to just swing through them with heavy slashes or not really care about hitting them because they're often pretty selfish. That guy does a great job to down me, but we get a really good revive, and I wouldn't be surprised if I was number one in team damage. And that didn't really feel great. There's no way to calculate it, but it's something I got to keep in mind for next time. My first instinct is to get really deep in there and just start swinging for the fences up front and looking for a counter from someone. That's not going to work in here. I should have been using more stabs. Overheads are good for this, but I wasn't being precise enough. That was a problem, as I said. And I do want to shout out Frog, Outlaw, Hubba, and kind of Joe Mama. She was very much slacking. Frogbird is a great friend. You guys have seen him in plenty of videos. That's my right-hand man in the Discord. And I'm just kidding about Joe Mama. She did great. What I absolutely loved about this is this feels like an all-out war right now. I'm starting to see why this is so fun, these competitive games, because you feel like you're fighting side by your friends. That's what I was just shouting them out for as well, for their great engineer work. You'll also always have to thank them for their service. I tell you guys that all the time, but it really does feel like when they say you find your friends on the battlefield, those like edgy quotes from like movies, it really just was so fun. And I always kind of joked about I'd never want to do competitive play because on principle I'm not playing or practicing anything where it's a video game and I'm gonna have to use up my time to do it unless money's involved. But now I'm gonna go back on that. I'm a little interested in this. I don't know if I'm really good enough yet because I don't think anyone's gonna really want to recruit me, just being honest. Not putting myself down, it's fine. But I think I'm gonna hit the dual yard. Maybe we'll do some videos of that coming up with guys like Lousy that you know that are featuring a lot of these videos. And we're gonna kind of go on a little journey here to get better, and I'm really excited for you guys to tag along. Now look how different this is, because someone shouts out the left side doesn't have as many people as the right side. Instead of being split up, everyone starts to push up. We got a lot of people on the gate, and that's going to get broken open. Those call-outs were crazy. It was awesome. Bonk Bonk did a great job, and everyone was calm and just really relaxed and listening. They were explaining in the call that this is one of the hardest stages to get. So you'll notice we're all moving up as a team. We're staying together, and we are going to try and push up in waves. Pretty cool stuff, and I'm really doing a good job. I really was proud of myself for not playing for the score or anything. I'm fighting as a team, keeping those deaths down because I'm making myself valuable as I'm alive. And now we're getting up closer, and I'm getting some kills, a lot of team damage, quite honestly. Now you'll see the people who survived, they fall back and wait for the next wave. It's really cool how this is so different, and don't see anyone fighting off on the sides just looking for kills. Everyone's objective focused, and I think that was really cool of our team, especially to just really work as a cohesive unit. So saying thank you was great manners, but not a great play. This is something I do in TO for immersion, is thank the person for getting me up, but it does get me killed there. Here I'm going to put some pressure on him, get that done. Going to start the cranks. Good job by me. There's only one going right now, and a spawn wave comes in. We're going to hold our ground, hold them off as long as we can. Doesn't really work out, though. We get a little surrounded there. I didn't know the Invisible Man was a competitive player. He's on the PlayStation side, and we're going to get in a really heated fight here. I get him back on his heels. He can't really get any counters in. We disarm him, get the kill. This was funny and an interesting strategy. It may look like he's in the wrong position, but that's actually a thing people do, apparently, is try and get on the ballista and one-shot the champion if they're able to get behind. That would be an all-time YouTube clip if that was done, but I'm not sure what's going on here. What I think happened is they had an extra player, so someone's just memeing and we're not really killing him. I don't really understand what happened there, so I didn't go for the kill. I didn't want to, but, you know, at this point he's near the champion. I kind of have to, so, yeah. This was really intense right here. They have their barricades set up. We got to fight to get this done. Everybody's pushing up as you'd expect. And they have people coming from behind. He's going to be really susceptible to a tackle here. Let's see if he gets it done. No tackle today. Great work. And that's a win. That's the first game done. Xbox gets a W. Now let's move on to Fallmeyer defense. So right off the bat, an interesting thing that I didn't realize was the go-to strategy for them was to fall back to the last cage. I decided to switch up to the longsword for a little bit. It's the weapon I feel most comfortable using, and I was feeling pretty bad about the team damage, and I thought I could be a little more precise with using a lot more stabs. Unfortunately, though, despite those 2 kills there, we do go back to the messer. And here, much like the great General Napoleon Dynamite, I'm going to point out that there's a person coming behind, and I turn my mic on, and they're able to get barricades up in time, I think, and we do converge on him because he had a free shot for a lot of damage on the cart. And this is the first example I can see of what I was talking about. I'm not engaging with anyone. I'm a last line of defense, and I think that was the right call here. I'm not about to ask these guys on the mic while they're doing call-outs and things like that, but I really didn't want to be just going out there fighting people who are much likely better than me in a one-on-one situation, or just using bad positioning and getting myself killed. I'm going to be near the objective, and I've been told that that works in LTS, that if you're not doing friendly fire on people, that's a good job, even if you're staying alive. But I'm going to find that last guy after a call out on the other side. I don't get there in time, and when I do, he kills me right away with a good target switch. And this was really cool. These 2 guys are totally tricking us, and they go to throw the petards over, get converged on and killed. And what they were really doing was trying to push the left one and faked us out. So now we need numbers over here. I wish I could shout out who knew that right away. They pointed out, and we get in the right position. And now at this point, Stakehammer is joining the game, and he made a big difference here. He's going to really help us out on the team. He's someone I got into the community, and now he's really invested, level 1,000, and is friends with all these guys. So it really goes to show, if you join my Discord, you're good vibes. Even if you're not as good as him, you can become good and get really into this. So I just really want to shout myself out for that, for making an amazing Discord. It goes 24/7, and it's right in the pinned comment. Just look how different this is, and I'm really trying to pick my spots. I do pile up some deaths here, not a lot of kills, and now they get a good push. They're going to get right in here now, and it's looking like we're going to be pushing back to the carts. We're getting a little bit of a tough spot here, trying to... I don't know why I went that way. That probably wasn't smart, and they're going to get the gates. Now I got to fight my way backwards, get some counters in. This isn't looking good. Now, when I talk about not running from fights in TO, that's a whole different story in here, but I do wave goodbye, do a troll move. But when you're in a competitive lobby, if you want to call it that, when we're playing for a win, and a lot of people are relying on each other, I have no choice but to do the smart play. And there was... a lot of them anyway, so it kind of made sense to do it even if I was in a team objective lobby, like matchmaking. And now their strategy here is to go all the way back and defend that one the best they can. That's where they prioritize. Too many heavy swings, by the way. I'm not realizing that these are not going to work as well. And that's my problem with certain weapons. I went back to the greatsword. I couldn't make up my mind. When I go to the messer, it's going to go a lot better. But now I'm using the greatsword. This is something that just works too well in matchmaking, and then you realize this is a whole different world. As I've said many times, drags, as Bonk Bonk said and to me, are not going to be a free hit when we talked about it later when I was saying how different it was. So you really do have to adapt and do the best you can. It's just it's a whole different world, and that was what made it fun though. And right now I'm near the bottom of the board, but like I said, I'm trying to stay alive near the objective. That's really what I'm trying to do. I'm running back and forth between those flags, not trying to get hit by anything. And I'm really kind of sacrificing my stats again. So in the post-stream screenshot, I did go positive, get a lot of takedowns, but I didn't have any Warhorn, and I was in the bottom half. I'm just pointing out, I think this wasn't the worst call. Again, I'm going to ask competitive friends to point out if this is, but it did affect my score a little bit. I was trying to be a little bit of a call these out if I have to, last line of defense, as I said, and I'm not sure if this was the right call. So again, I would love feedback on that. It hurts me to my soul to be killed by Lousy. He's one of my favorite people in this game, as you saw in the recent video. He's gonna go hard on the objective, and so am I. There's no non-aggression packs in these, obviously. Those little unspoken things. I really hope that goes without saying, that this is not that kind of lobby where it's just messing around. And he does that. He kills me. I cry a little on the inside, and then we duel later. So stay tuned on that. That's a little teaser for you. Now they're gonna get this last one. We killed some time, I believe, but this is where this was pretty funny. As we're falling back, someone calls, we got a suicide because the spawn wave, they got one really quickly, a lot of people up, which is confusing. And Froggy's gonna hit me as he walks by, dumbass. It's pretty funny though. Unfortunately, not everyone did it for some reason. This cost us a little bit, to my understanding. And they're pushed all the way up the bridge. Nothing was skipped ahead here other than the walk back after I'd suicided. Now we're gonna do our best to push them back, but the game really did kind of mess us over. That was very unlucky. I still maintain I'm a net positive at this point. I'm cutting down on the team damage, but I am near the bottom of the leaderboard, and I got called out for it. And I'm going to try and step it up now, because despite the fact that I'm playing for the win, it doesn't feel good when you're not getting the kills. So I'm second to last right now. I got to step it up, get some more kills. Just on a pride thing, I don't want to be not getting that many. And that's when it's like a competitive thing gets in your head. When you're going against other good players, you really don't want to be letting anyone down, both your team and kind of what you look like when that leaderboard is going to go up at the end and when they talk about it. And I still maintain I'll play to the bottom of the leaderboard as long as we won the game. It is something that's going to be the lasting impression of this, and I don't want to be remembered that I had a bad game. Now I turn on the LeBron James meme when he stares 1,000-yard stare and gets really into that NBA Finals game. I'm going to start going for kills. I need to get kills here. We need to push them back. There's no more being passive. I'm even going to risk getting a death just so I could clear these back, because being passive worked on the last stage. I think using a messer, I have to be more aggressive. And from this point forward, I'll really turn it up, get some deaths, but overall, I think that was the right way to play there. Now we fall back to this side. Not enough of us over here, in my understanding, because there's only a few of us and they're starting to push this side. I wasn't sure if I should call out on the mic, and it's a smaller scale fight. These are not what I'm good at when it comes to this. I'm good at 1vxing, but that's not going to get it done in this TO lobby, because I just feel like that's not a skill that applies as much. Now, if you guys remember and you're a long time watcher, we used to have a ton of trouble with fire pots, constantly burning our teammates alive. And we're going to get a throwback clip. We take one out here. Check this out. I'm pretty sure in a lobby like this, you're not supposed to hit your teammates with a fire pot. You're actually supposed to hit the other team. So that felt dumb, and I don't think that was really a good play. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Maybe I was supposed to hit every teammate that was in the area. It's like when we were attacking, they're going to come in waves. We're setting up the barricades, and Joe Mama and Frogbert, Hubba, and Outlaw are doing an amazing job. They're going to push up and then fall back as a team. It's really cool to watch and hear the calls for this. I've never thought about the game on this level, and I'm excited to keep doing this. I really do not want to be hitting those barricades. Very conscious of that. Murderous Bob, the all-time vibes man of Chivalry 2. He's going to lay out for his team and go madman rush it to the lever. But we get that stab in between the barricades, so that was a pretty good job. And we get a nice little flank, I guess you would call that, behind everyone. And we repelled him again. It's coming down to it now. Just 3 minutes left. Pushed out a little too hard, and now I'm seeing them off to the right, and they call it right after. We're going to get over there as quick as we can, and we're going to start getting, like, push them back on this side. So during an absolutely just endless respawn, again getting messed over like that, like we did on the bridge, they're able to get the final cranks. Now it's really, this is real crunch time. It's going to get really intense. Again, I do want to let this breathe, guys. This isn't great, by the way, being that in deep, but check out how this is going to end, because it really came down to it, is all I'll say. Now you're going to see a huge blunder. I go to throw fire pod at Thorn, and look what happens. Someone jumps over that fire, and I got eaten alive by some people in my Discord after that, in a joking manner. And to make matters worse, you'll see how this ends, but that really just felt awful. I think it was bad timing. I did get some kills, but it really did burn some teammates. I think it cost us. Let's see if we can get this done. Much different than a normal lobby. I have to leave this guy on the ground. It's all hands on deck to get Thorn because at this point he is surrounded. Now, to make matters worse, this invalidates the whole win, is Joe Mama, my sworn nemesis in this game, throws a fire pot after my two horrific ones, one which cost us big time, and kind of clutches the game. Really upsetting. I'm just kidding, though. Great work by her. And this was such a thrill to win. I was near the bottom in this one, the second one, but I did go positive. I think I did okay. Love you guys. See you in the next one. What's going on, guys? It's Seany Salami. I was really excited to share this one with you guys because it's the most kills and takedowns I've ever gotten in a game. I don't know if I'd necessarily say it's the best game I've had, just because I did die a lot, but the new mindset I have, if I get Fallmire or Dark Forest, just because they're such long games, like the map goes on for so long, I'm going to use the Messer. So if you see those games up, like if you see that's the map, it's just me going for maximum kills, basically, maximum takedowns. I'm going to die a lot, but it's okay because, like you'll see, 90 kills is crazy. I've never done that. And 150 takedowns as well, so just a really fun one all around. I did say I was retiring the Messer, but I've decided it's just too fun. I'm going to use it sparingly, though, even when I'm not recording, like, unless something crazy happens, just because I feel like I sound like a broken record at this point. It just doesn't have any weaknesses. It's a little obscene, the damage it does. Like, the overheads are crazy. And something that really helped put up the numbers in this map, there's a million ambushers in this game on Vanguard. So I'm not sure what that was about. I feel like there must have been a Reddit post or a YouTube video on that, because we're running into just so many. If you notice that first death, I actually was getting beat pretty bad by a Highland sword, which I usually don't have trouble with, but I ended up getting killed by a throwing knife. And what's funny looking at this is I actually got off to a very slow start. I've already died about 4 times, I think. I'd have to look back. But I only have like 3 kills, so it kind of goes to show, like, if you get frustrated after a slow start, just slow it down. I always say that. Focus on positioning, get back, like, eventually you'll get snap out of it. And something I wanted to say, just because I referred to myself as a good player, is I don't consider myself some insane elite player, guys. Like, I know a lot of you got mad about calling myself a console elite, which, again, I don't believe. It's like, it's kind of for clicks on YouTube to compete with bigger content creators and get those clicks. That's just something I have to do. I really also don't understand why on the internet, confidence is kind of a bad thing, when in real life it's made me a lot of friends and been a good thing, as I'm doing a lot of team damage there. Apologies about that. Just a little rant I wanted to go on. Like, I consider myself good, not great, and it comes down to playtime. That's all I'm saying. If I didn't play this game as much as I did, I'm not some prodigy. That's all. And this is really disappointing to watch back the beginning of, just because I am being a very reckless. Maybe I'm getting an okay amount of kills and deaths, or kills and takedowns. The disappointing thing, however, is I'm respawning so much, it's wasting a lot of time. So I do wish I got off to a hotter start, because if I had that, like, recklessness but controlled, I wouldn't have like, this is a lot of deaths, that's all. But overall, we know it's a fun game, that when you get 90 kills, you can't help but be happy about that. Nice little 1v1 there I forgot about. It gets interrupted a little bit. These are the kind of moments I love. I think we come out on top. Nice feint by him, and I do counter it. I do kill him before I die, so that was nice. Actually, I'm still going for a little bit there, but great fight by him if he's watching. GG's. This is an example of something you don't want to do if you're caring about your KD. Don't run in like this. Take the forward spawn or run back. But as I've been saying, I'm trying to go maximum kills, use my best weapon. So that's why we didn't do it there, because we didn't want to wait for the... Like, look, they're not even... Like, the other team's not even at us yet, so it would have been a few seconds waiting. So I don't stress that death. Again, there's like 2 ambushers there. Isn't that funny? I think they actually get me with a throwing knife while I show my back to him. No, I do get killed by the war axe. But yeah, there's quite a few of them around. Nice 1v1 here for a little bit. The one-handed sword is pretty tough to fight in those situations, especially because he's being aggressive and being in close. Then we just get absolutely fucking deleted from existence. At this point, it feels like I've gotten my confidence back and I'm in a little bit of a rhythm and groove. We've gotten a lot of kills and takedowns. We helped this guy out here, but now I'm being a little more careful with how reckless I've been. Good time to jab by that guy, so I got interrupted. Forget if I kill him. This game was such a blur. Let's see. Great fight there. Good job, dude. Good GG's, but we do come out on top. I'm booking it towards the guy with, I believe you call that a petard, I always forget, where he's trying to break the wall. So right now I'm still playing for the win first and foremost. You know, I do have to admit, I was towards the end getting off objective because I was confident I could influence the game enough to win at the end. But let's just call it like it is. I was also just going for the most kills possible. So I rarely do that, so I did just want it to go to the end. So winning was secondary, guys. I deserve some hate for that. Please call me out and keep me accountable in the comments. These guys are getting in my way like crazy, so I just swing through them and not stress the team damage because it's kind of deserved on their end. But I do find a nice little hiding spot to heal, and we get back to full health. I mean, this is crazy how many times I'm just getting hit by throwing knives with a million ambushes in this game. That was infuriating. Possibly the days of the bad fire pots are long over, because now I get some takedowns and some kills, then rush in like an idiot. Now real quick, I'm going to point something out because we're going to cut out for a minute. So what happened in that life, I got a lot of kills, quite honestly, and then died. Nothing crazy. But we did cut it out for a minute, and I'll explain why. A teammate was hitting me over and over again through a fire pot, which ended up kind of getting me killed in the 1vx. And then they either left or got banned or kicked from the game for team damage. But without getting into it, they don't need their name out there. They're a good person. We've been in voice chat. I think they're probably going through something in their personal life. We got in an argument in Discord. I think maybe it's misdirected anger. I don't want to get into the whole thing on a public video, but again, I don't want that person being like called out or grief from it. It is what it is. And thank you for understanding. I just left that in there, that little rant, as we get killed by yet another throwing knife. I just don't like hiding stuff in this game from you guys, and on some level I do hope the person sees that so they know I don't hold anything against them and hope they reach out. Okay, anyway guys, let's get let's get back into the actual game we're playing. Doing a solid job here of dragging all my swings. That was a lot of kills. We dropped down. Now we end up down here for a very long time, and that wasn't on purpose. I don't know if it helped or didn't kills wise, but it did make the game go on longer and assure they're gonna get this because they were able. Oh my, I've said it a few times. There was a million throwing knives going through the air and just ambushers, but it did kind of help the game go to the next objective because as someone who's influencing the game, I was down here and not really holding the bridge. Kept getting in a few fights, but it got a few kills without death. I guess that's pretty good. You know I'll never run from a fight, but that third ambusher we just completely ran past. Not the guy with the pole hammer. He's perfectly fine. The last map on Thaik, he was teabagging me and laughing every time I died. So in case he somehow, some way was able to kill me, I'm not giving him the satisfaction on video because I was recording. So then we just continue on. We're trying to get up top, and I'm just going to get a good flank in. No, I'm going to get killed, but maybe I kill some archers, which always makes it worth it. What was interesting there is that I actually became the objective. They weren't supposed to be capturing the bridge. They're supposed to be killing me. That got them some bonus points, I think, because there's no other explanation for why 5 of them jumped off the bridge to get me. Okay, so I actually did cut out me disconnecting my controller from the batteries falling out, frantically trying to get it back connected. Just because this video did go on so long and it wasn't really a legitimate death, I just cut it out because I'm realizing this went on quite a while, which is how you get those high kill games. But I don't want you guys to sit here all day just seeing kind of pointless things like that. How about that right there? And then the teammates come to the rescue. By the way, looking back at this, it's actually standing out more to me, the amount of deaths I'm getting, not really the takedowns or kills. So when you guys watch this, if you see the full thing, let me know what you think in the comments, which stood out more to you, because I don't know if I'm being critical of myself. I knew this going in, I was going to die a lot, like I said, trying to get all these kills with the messer on a long map, but it kind of makes me cringe when I see how much I'm getting killed here. So again, I'm wondering if I'm being critical or if that's reality, so just let me know. So right now, I'm around now at least, I checked the scoreboard and I noticed that I am either going, I can beat my personal best, which is about 84, 85 kills, I forget. And I could even get 100 kills at this point if they get this objective. So I start to put that pressure on myself to do it. And sometimes if I do that, I end up getting frustrated and go the other way, but in this case I really started to get even more and come really close. You guys saw in the thumbnail, I think it was 90 we ended up with, not 100. But you know, as you're seeing this wind down, what's really disappointing for on a personal level is the game did not go to the last objective, because you can see there's only 2 minutes left in the game and the video. I would have got 100 pretty easily. I believe it was 91 kills. I have like number dyslexia sometimes, so we'll check at the end. Forget the exact amount. But it was a really fun one. Again, I would like to know what you guys think about all the deaths versus the actual kills and takedowns. It's kind of making me cringe looking back. Again, I could just be being critical, but let me know. And with that death and the time winding down, we did seal, because I noticed that it was going to wind down. I did try and get a bunch of kills at the end. We did not get 100. I'm actually curious to see when this pops up how many it was. I think, like I said, 91, let's see. That's what I'm going to guess, but came so close. It really is disappointing. We outkilled them a lot on defense, largely because of all the kills I had. I'll see you guys in the next one. Check out the, okay, 88, that's pretty great still. And check out these end cards for some related videos. Love you guys, bye. What's going on, guys? It's Seany Salami. A goal for a really long time for me has been to get 100 kills in a game. This one we came up short, but I honestly think this was the most in the zone I've ever been for an entire game. It was crazy. I'd really like for you guys to see how devastating the longsword can be when you are in that zone. It almost feels like you activated an ultra or special ability in a different kind of game, because sometimes you'll just get really streaky and get a lot of kills very quickly, but it really did feel like that was what was going on this whole time. And the longsword is a weapon I would consider A tier. I don't think it's as good as weapons like the greatsword or messer that I also run a lot. There's plenty of weapons better than it, but it's definitely a competitive option. And the consensus, I think, is pretty accurate that it has a very low skill floor. If you're spamming slashes, it's going to be a terrible weapon. But if you're really mixing up your attacks using stabs and heavy overheads, things like that do a lot more damage with it, it really does have a high skill ceiling where it'll reward smart and good play. And a lot of those target switching and look-offs you do really just, it feels great with this weapon. Strida is legitimately one of the best longsword players. It's not just about him having a platform, it's also about his in-game ability. And he does this stuff in first person. I don't know how. He considers it the best weapon in the game, which I think is a little crazy. But it's definitely a weapon that rewards those target switching and look-offs that you'll see him do. I'll come up with a few examples of it during the gameplay. I've really kind of added that to my repertoire, as also I've been doing a lot more kicks. Stepbo said even at the highest level, and I am name dropping him a lot by the way, but he's one of the people training me, that even at the highest level, people do fall for those. And if I notice a player is holding block while I've been in their lobby, I'll do it all the time now, especially after a jab. Just because in a public lobby, it really does kind of punish a lot of bad players. Good player, it's really not going to work on, although jab to kick, it does work pretty well. But it's something I'm kind of adding to pad my stats a little bit. The 100 kill game is going to happen pretty soon. I've just been really improving as a player. And like I said, this was going to be close. I'll leave you guys to see how close we get and how this game ends up. But let's get into the gameplay, where we're letting this go on a while. I'm in way too deep, by the way. Lately, the objective isn't something I've been stressing as much. I find it really rewarding to do, and I think it's a lot more fun. But as I've been grouping up with viewers and a lot of friends and parties, it really can just be too easy to win, quite honestly. Especially now that the game is more balanced and it keeps your party together and it's less auto balance for us. It really does feel awful to end maps like Linespire or Rudhelm too early. And they did a really great job where the levels are kind of evened out on each side. I don't know if there's an invisible MMR or it's by level, but either way, it's been pretty even, I've said recently. I'm not going to switch to defense anymore to help a team out, because I'm finding that every time I do that, it becomes a little too easy to win on there. Again, I'm not trying to talk about how great I am, but it's just kind of comes from a lot of playtime. I'm pretty experienced at this point. This is a little bit of what I'm talking about as you see these fights unfold. I'm doing a really good job using my footwork to get the stabs in behind their block and drag it into them. It's just such a good weapon for that, but that guy does come out on top for the 1 versus 1. Great work by him. And like I said, we came close, so we're on absolute fire already. We're not really having much trouble. We have piled up some deaths, but I'm also being reckless. I've been trying to work on positioning, as you guys know, but right now it's all about the kills. I'm just getting a little too full myself and get way too deep in there. That guy's gonna punish me. He clearly knew what he was doing. So I need to get the objective done at this point, and there's only a minute left, and I get in there pretty easily. This is kind of what you need to get a high kill game, is a lot of bad players. They just let me get right behind them, but you'll never guess what happens next. I've been playing a little bit of more Vanguard recently, and it's kind of making me realize I should be using more feints. It does kind of get me in trouble with Knight a little bit, but I do think it's something I can add, just even with this class. Less stamina does become a problem. I should be monitoring it more. A little bit of a death streak now. This happens sometimes, even in these high kill games. It is a little regrettable because I could have got even more and even closer. It is what it is, though. I felt like I was pressing a little bit at this point when I had a great stage at the first point. By the way, I've talked about this before. I can be talking about my numbers a little too much and my stats in games, but after you've played this game a lot, you really do kind of race yourself a little bit, see if you can put up those really big games. And lately I've kind of returned to talking about it slightly. It's something I was trying to stop doing for a while, and I probably should tone it down a little bit, but it really is about trying to improve and get those, I would say, numbers up, just so I see a reflection of the skill increase I'm getting. So good work here for my team to get that done, continue the game. They didn't have a lot of killing power. That was all kind of my job, really. I was doing the objective and fighting near it when I had to, but this team really was lacking in the kill department, and it does kind of cost us later, as you'll see. We just love dumb archers. This guy's not even going to hear me get behind him. I absolutely hate those guys, and a nice free kill. Good flank here, though, and we help the team keep moving by getting those and stabbing from behind. I've been trying to use more special attacks when people are leaving their back open like that. It's just the longsword specifically, I do miss a lot with them. Not sure why that is. It's a pretty cursed attack for me. I really do get too cocky and fight on the front lines too much, and I'm noticing as I work on my positioning, you do get a lot of free kills from smarter play and getting those flanks in as well. This is really just such a consistent thing you can do in these lobbies is jab to kick. And what's really great is if they don't hold block after the jab, which most players are going to, you kind of can recover before that kick doesn't work. You're on the brink of death. I'm not stressing it and still just winning these 1vx's. Here I'm pretty sure I'm gonna die, but I am able to get up and get some really clutch teammates. This is what it looks like to be in the zone with the longsword. It really just can be a devastating weapon. It reminds me of, like, you know, when Jon Snow was in that battle and they had the tracking shot and he's just killing everyone and going berserk on the Boltons. That's why I love this weapon, is it just feels so good to use and natural. I don't really think any weapon can quite hit like this and give you that action movie feel. I just got the kill streak godlike, and that's really the second highest, I believe. I think Wicked Sick may be higher for kill streaks, but usually you'll get that in a game where you don't die at all. It just goes to show that I was just locked in for this one. I don't really know what that was about, and it kind of came out of nowhere. Now, unfortunately, our teammate is doing his best to help. No worries on this one, but the 35 kill streak does come to an end. Some quick deaths in a row here. We're starting to notice the timer is ticking down. We really do want to get on those cages at this point, and it's costing us a little in the death department. That's kind of what you got to do to win these games, and also extend them if you're trying to go for that 100 kill game, as I said. Death is going to be assured at this point. What I'm really trying to do, and what worked well, is kind of distract them, because they're all going to go after me. They're not really as focused on the cage as they should be, and a lot of them, I pulled 3 directly towards me. Again, no disrespect to this team, it was a lot of lower levels. I'm kind of bringing it on myself to get a lot of this done, and now we're going to open that last cage on our own. We had a lot of teammates around, but we had the hits to get on it. I was really trying to press for kills at this point, because I did think that enough people on the other team are not going to the spawn wave. That's kind of what makes high kill players so valuable, even if they're not on the objective. So that was really the responsibility in my head I was kind of taking on to keep this game going on attack. Skipping a little bit ahead here, because we didn't take the forward spawn, it was a bit of a walk. A problem that I'm running into in my head right now is, because I'm talking about a lot of the kill power not being there, the bridge is one, even if they're on the objective, which this team was doing their best, like I said, don't get me wrong, we really need to be out killing them to get this capture, to my understanding. I started to press a little bit here as well. I'm going to be honest, I choked a little bit when I started noticing that my kills were high, and the team really needed me to go to work here to try and get this done. I was thinking about switching to the Messer, and I don't regret that. Just because the longsword got me this far, I figured that's what I should stay with. I'm doing all I can at this point. I got us down early by not getting enough of those kills to clear the bridge, but time is ticking at this point, because I'm noticing our progress is going a little too slow. And if I'm going to be dying like this and respawning, it's really just costing us like 20 seconds. And again, I really sound like a broken record. This team had a lot of low levels. It's not their fault whatsoever. Until the middle part of this bridge stage, I would honestly consider that the best stretch of gameplay I've ever had. I just never felt as in the zone as this. Even in like the 90 kill game, I piled up the deaths. We really were very close to that 100 kill game. If we managed to get past this, I do think it would have been nearly assured, just because we would have a lot of time on the crank stage of the gate. I'd probably decline the VIP. Really unfortunate they couldn't get it done, but that is mostly on me, guys, because I think I didn't do my part. Started pressing a little too much. The team did all they could, as I said. 116 takedowns and 61 kills is great for a full-length game, but it is what it is. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. What's going on, guys? It's Seany Salami. This was the best game I played in a few weeks that I've recorded, and I think this is what Escape from Fallmire looks like when it's at its absolute best. This is one of Chivalry 2's best maps because it's really long, but it never really feels like it. Every objective is very fun, and it does seem pretty balanced in my opinion. Bonus points, by the way, for not having any catapults and only a few ballistas. The ending of this couldn't be any more close for the VIP. I won't spoil who won, so stay tuned. But it was pretty funny to see that it ended up that close, because I was a little worried going in. We were grouped up with 3 top players: John Wick's Pencil, NJH44, and last and certainly least, Joe Mama. And as much as I love playing with friends, it never really feels good when you're kind of stomping noobs together. And what I did before this update was some of us would often switch to defense to help out if we all ended up on attack. Despite what Reddit cries about, that hotfix really did fix things for the better. It seems a lot better now with the team stacking. There's always going to be team switchers until they just outright remove that, which they haven't for some reason. But as you saw in the thumbnail, I had 80 kills and 150 takedowns. It's the second most kills I've had with the longsword, and possibly the most takedowns I've had. I don't really know. I don't really pay attention to takedowns enough. We did die a fair bit, but I think I've played better than this recently. And I do think the main reason my numbers were so crazy was because the game just was so long. There's a few other games that I've played better recently, but they didn't go the distance, for example, or just were too quick. Now, this was recorded a few days ago, but by the time this is up, Chivalry 2 will be free on Epic Games for a little bit, I think a few weeks, and it's also getting its first WXP weekend. So I'm a little worried about how games are going to go for the next week, or at least definitely the weekend. There's really no point in putting up videos of just killing new players. I remember the Steam release, and then Xbox Game Pass, especially when it came on there, and then the PlayStation Plus release. There were so many new players that it made the game a little too easy. I don't think that would be good content if I'm looking at it through my eyes as if I was watching someone as a viewer. And I do think that it's just less fun in general for gameplay. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy some playoff hockey because I'm not sure if you guys knew, I'm a diehard New York Rangers fan. That passion comes before any silly story game. I've actually decided that if they don't win at all, I'm going to light myself on fire outside of Madison Square Garden. As much as I love this game, sports is more important to me. If you're a fan of any team, let me know in the comments or join my Discord. It'll be in the pinned comment. I really think we have the dumbest Discord of all time. It's not exactly the world's brightest minds in there, but it is fun. You'll laugh a lot, and you'll have a lot of funny conversations. But now, let's get into the gameplay. We're going to be using the Longsword on Knight. I have been running Vanguard a lot recently, but it's not my best class, as you guys probably know. I just have so many more hours in Knight. So when I go back to it, it really feels like a weight off my shoulders almost, that I can take all these hits and not die as much. Great work by NGH44 to come jump in and help me out when I'm in a lot of trouble. Much love to that dude. He's done a lot for the community to get these standalones going every night. And he had an even better game than me as well. You'll see at the end. I'm going to put all 4 of our stats up at the end because we really did carry this team and make the big difference that pushed them for a win. Now, recently, something I've been trying to do to improve the quality of the videos for you guys is trim the fat a little bit. So, for example, is during the walk over here, we killed a bunch of stragglers from behind, but there really wasn't anything I thought that was necessary to leave in. I'll still be showing every single death unless it's something like I was AFK, things like that, because I think you can probably learn more from my mistakes than things I actually do well. Let me know if I'm off base with this new editing style. I'm always open to constructive criticism. I just want to respect your guys' time and not really leave unnecessary moments in. Here I find myself in way too deep. I don't know what I was thinking, but at this point I'm realizing I'm at least going to take a few archers down with me. I've said this many times, but the overheads are very slept on the longsword. The heavy overhead actually does more damage than the stabs, which is what you mostly want to be using, is those stabs. But I always found the overhead on this and the mess are a little weird and hard to counter. They can kind of look a little strange, and it's hard to hit them with the tip of your weapon while getting that counter off for especially players on console without holding block. It's just one of those things I think you guys should keep in mind. The stab really is your bread and butter, that is true. But the heavy overhead is very quick for a heavy attack. Involve both of those into your feints, and it really just devastates vanguards, as you see right there as well. Here I get a little bloodthirsty, which really just means a good way of saying greedy. I see someone bloody and it's going to make me get in way too out of position, and we're going to pay the price. This was a really cool fight. We're pretty evenly matched, it seems like, against this guy with the Vanguard battle axe. And it's really back and forth. We're each getting hits in. He's going to get me with an overhead after the kick, but teammates are going to come in on either side. That's what's so funny about this game, is those chaotic moments. Every time you think you got a one-on-one for an extended amount of time, it seems like that is what ends up happening. Nice bunch of kills here. We've been playing really well to this point, and for some reason I'm so delusional that I almost rage quit and got very angry. Luckily they talked me out of this, and in addition to that, we almost lost this objective, but Joe Mama sacrificed herself on it about 9 times. She said she died trying to get it so we can continue. I should have pushed more on it as well, but in the end it worked out. For the record, that is something I've talked about in the past, so if you're new to this channel, I do have somewhat of an anger problem. I do rage quit quite a bit. It's not a Chivalry 2 thing, it's just a life thing, and I do apologize for that. I do get a lot of flack in the comments sometimes from people who have seen it. I do think it's better to get off something that's frustrating you than force yourself to play, but at the same time I do understand why people want me to feel guilty about it, because it does feel bad. And I don't think it's necessarily always the most fair thing, especially because of how frequently I do it. I'm not trying to use the mental health excuse. It doesn't make it okay. Dying like I do here does make me laugh, but it's also oddly embarrassing at the same time. A pretty good fight here that I do think I misplayed to an extent. Something you want to do when fighting one-handers, guys, I haven't pointed this out in a little bit, is you want to crouch to stop your forward momentum. Right there I did it, but it's really a very important thing to do when you're fighting quick and fast weapons. The idea is you neutralize their reach, because every time you crouch, the swing or stab doesn't move you forward like it usually would. We don't do it enough here, but we use some good footwork. Even though missing a few overheads, he misses some as well, and we are able to come out on top. Very good fight there. I'm pretty happy because, again, I've worked on positioning recently, and it's good to see it paying off, as I'm not too far ahead trying to just push those levers for no reason, because if I did that, it would put maybe some pressure on them, but it would get me killed very quickly. And staying with the team and sending people to their spawn wave back as well really makes a bigger difference than if I'm just suicide running at those levers. There was a chance I can meet my personal best in kills or surpass it, which is 90. And we do come up short, but I declined VIP because I think it's very corny when people wait at the boat and don't really go in just to pad their stats. So I'm not going to do that. I decline it. NJH really did have a better game than me, but I'm a Warhorn merchant because I'll leave the stats at the end for you guys to see. But when you do, I want you to pay attention to how little he died, because relative to the game being so long, I don't think my deaths were that crazy. But the way he kept his so low really is something I'm aspiring to get better at. Very good work by him. All of us really did pull our weight the most. It was very fun to see this. This is going to come down to the very last moments. I want you guys to watch this, so I'll keep the commentary to a minimum for a bit. Awesome little killing spree here, fighting side by side with my friends, but you'll never guess what happens next. Now, while the game was going on and we were playing it, it felt like nobody was protecting him. But as I'm watching this back, it really does seem like it was more so the other team was just as focused. So he's at very low health. There's only 2 minutes to go. It's time for him to try and make a decision of what we're going to do here, because going back to heal is a great idea, but with how much they're pushing, I would have not known what to do. So let's see if he can get this done. So as we get the win, 100 bombs for everyone. Great game here. NJH only died 9 times, as I mentioned. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. What's going on, guys? It's Seany Salami. We had a little bit of issues recording from the beginning, so that's why I'm dead. But it actually worked out really well that we remembered, because yes, you read that correctly. We had over 80 kills. And before I continue, I just want to let you guys know I love you all, every single one. We'll never take you for granted, and the Discord is in the pinned comment. Now, what's interesting about this is that I did it with the longsword and not something super meta like the greatsword, messer, halberd, etc. And I think that kind of speaks to the game being, we have a lot of issues with Torn Banner, but overall the balance is pretty good right now, because the longsword's very good, but it's not like a weapon you would think of where you put up that kind of numbers. Like it's probably like B or A tier, I guess. People know this stuff better than I do. And I think there's a few reasons why I did so well with this. I've been playing Vanguard a ton lately, and while it's a great class, and I do like it a lot, I am much better on Knight because of how I play. I guess Knight is maybe considered slightly better, but for me, it's a big difference. Just because I've played Knight more. And the other thing is, again, I'm going to mention it again, Sergeant Willard told us in the Discord, again in the pinned comment, that aim assist was turned on for console, so I was wondering why my game felt so off and I couldn't do play like I normally could. Like, it just felt off and I couldn't put my finger on it. And once I turned aim assist off, then I went back to night, now that I have my new Agatha armor that I was trying to showcase, which I think looks really cool. Yeah, it was a recipe to just go off and have a really good game. The lobby wasn't too good. Like, I think even in the beginning, for the first just the first 2 stages, once we capture the gatehouse, it fills up. It kind of lent itself for this to happen, so I was very favorable for that to happen. Like, it's not like I was in a standalone, it's kind of very early here. And yeah, so let's get into the gameplay. What I do here is never a good idea. I extend a little too far and I get killed from behind trying to get thirsty for that last kill. Now we're gonna, well, you'll see, we get killed by an archer in melee, but from there on we turn into an unstoppable killing machine. It's like how my friend Get Spiffy always uses the LeBron meme when he starts staring, like a 1,000-yard stare. Now at this point we are taking that archer melee kill personally, and we just dominate from here on out. Nice little triple kill, and there's a lot of space to work with, just because I think it's after this objective is when the game completely fills up. Right, thank you, Footman. Always thank you, Footman. Right now I think it's at like 22-21 or something. If I think I'd check in a minute. Yeah, oh, look at that, I'm dead on. 21-22. So that's what I kind of like about these lower player count ones, when it's just for a little bit, because you kind of get a little bit of a feel of like how to use your footwork and practice that a little bit when there's all that room to operate. The unfortunate thing is I did check out the 40 player queue that they have now, the mixed modes, and it seemed like it was a lot of newish players. Like, I didn't want to go in and just ruin everyone's time. Let me know if you guys have tried that mode in the comments and what it's like, because I didn't even finish the game because it was kind of too easy, and then I tried another time, same kind of thing. And I don't know what that's going to look like if it stays that way, that game mode. So just let me know your experience in there, because it is I think the change of pace would be good if it works out and is active with like decently high level players as well. Another good example of someone being covered in blood doesn't mean you extend yourself to kill them, because I get burned again, just like I did earlier. Nice little 2v1 here against two, from what I saw on the scoreboard, high level players. A little side note for you is that I've actually tried turning on the music instead of having my own, because I keep not hearing footsteps, and it actually kind of fits the game really well. I think they did a much better job than I think people give them credit for, because like, who wants to listen to in-game music and something like this when you could put on like your own? But when I was recording and wanted to hear footsteps and have a good game, it really did kind of help, and like, well, it made it a little less boring than if I had the music muted like I usually do for these games. Obviously, the longsword is a stab first weapon, but this is a good example of why the overheads are so good as well. They're quick, they look a little weird, and you can get around block pretty easily. And combined with that speed, it can be pretty devastating to someone that's playing like footman or vanguard. Maybe a knight, it's not going to do that same damage, but that's a good little example right there. This guy kind of snuck behind everyone and was just picking up fire from that back part and putting it up over and over. And I think he got like 2 or 3 of them. So I don't know how we didn't see him. I'm not even going to blame my teammates for not doing the objective, because I had zero clue either. I would have liked to keep fighting this guy. It wasn't like a true one-on-one, but it was going pretty well. I think he was probably going to kill me in a good fight, but the rest of the team comes. I get the revive, and he kind of gets swept away a little bit. While I had a ton of kills regardless, they did let me get behind them a bunch there. I felt like that was kind of a thing these last two stages of the map, where like I was able to get some pretty easy flanks and that I normally wouldn't be able to, at least is the feeling I got. I actually had an interesting conversation with Rebellions in the Discord. He's level 1,000, very good player. We were talking about see how that guy backed away and ran. That's fine, I get it. But like if it's a one-on-one like that and you're losing, we were talking about how like it's kind of a bitch move to just run and leave. Like I'm not hating on that guy specifically. It just came to my mind while it happened because it made me like remember it. It's kind of interesting because a lot of the times I feel like I know where I should be and what my positioning is, what the right call is, but I don't care because I do the fun thing. So I'm curious to see what you guys think about that kind of like situation. Like if you're starting to lose, do you run or do you just owe it to the guy to finish the fight? Now here, thankfully, I decline it because I felt like I was in such a like the zone that I wanted to see if I can get more kills and beat my personal best. I think, which is like 88 or 86. I'd have to go check the screenshot. It was from a while back, and I was on a really good pace at this point. So I didn't accept it because it, like, you know, you're playing for the win, obviously, and I can't do both at the same time if I'm playing as the Duke, whereas I can if I'm the heir because or the not the Duke because I could still be getting kills and helping out in the right areas. So that was kind of the idea there. I'd like to accept it if I'm on video, but I hope you guys forgive me this time. Here I did like a little bit of a double take after I walked up the stairs because I'm looking back and I think I walked by some guy on the ground. Yeah, sure enough I did. So I do that double take and then I'm like, oh, I guess he died or he's up. I was interested to see when I looked back because I felt pretty bad, but then we bandage up and move on with our day. Here it feels like quite a few times we take advantage of them pushing hard on the Duke to get that kill. Credit to them for doing that, and I'm kind of mopping up some free kills from behind a little bit. But they're doing exactly what they should. I was just right place, right time. And there you have it, guys. We're back on track with a win and a lot of kills, a ton of kills. I'm gonna crop it to see the how close I was to the next closest person, like how different it was, and then I'll let the stats play at the end. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. What's going on, guys? It's Seany Salami. Today we got a great game, the most fun I've had in this game in a few weeks now, on Chivalry 2's best map, Siege of Rudhelm. What really made this so fun was I was playing with some friends from the Unyielding Discord I started. That'll be in the pinned comment. It's basically the most active Discord in the community right now. It's been insane, the growth it's been getting. And then we're playing against Easy17, who's been in a video before, and he had his group of guys he plays with in the Shiv cartel, some friends in there. What really made this so cool was we all had really good games, but it felt like I was leading my army against his. It was really cool stuff because it's kind of like the new update that's coming out that we're going to get potentially this month. It was announced today that it's called Regicide. And the rumor going right now is that map is going to end on a VIP versus a VIP, one king fighting another king. And that was going through my head in this because we were leading both teams. We ended up topping the scoreboard on each one. And I was just thinking about how cool that's going to be. And you definitely want to stay tuned on the channel to see us play that once it's out. Because as I said, they said it should be this month. We know Chivalry 2 and Torn Banner don't always follow through on those for one reason or another. But I may have to be hitting the duel yard with Lousy or some other soon, because I don't think my 1 versus 1 skills are there against players like Easy17. I do want to talk about him a little bit because he's someone I've kind of built into my head as a rival, and then I popped into his streams. He's a very cool guy. I'll link his Twitch below, and he's someone that plays kind of similar to me, so it's pretty funny. I first started noticing him because he uses the longsword a lot. That's kind of his main weapon, although he has been using the spear more recently. I think you'll see him use it in this one. And we always end up on opposite teams if I'm in his lobby. Right before I went to go edit this and add the commentary over, we actually were in opposite games on Fallmeyer, and it just always ends up some crazy thing happens, or it just ends up epic and long. So I don't know, I just love playing against this guy, and he's become a friend, which is pretty cool. One of those great things about the Chivalry 2 community being small is when you kind of built up these rivalries or make friends that you're going to run into regularly. There's no other game I can think of where it's small enough that everybody knows each other that plays regularly, but it's also big enough you're always going to find full games. It's the only game I can think of where you really can carve out your own path as like some legendary Game of Thrones swordsman or Lord of the Rings kind of thing. And it really is a game that if it does end up being the last update, I'm never going to forget my times in here, especially when I've made friends that are long going to outlast this game. I do want to shout out 2 of them that I'm playing with right now. That's Sir Careless / Ultra Blue. He goes by both of those. And then we're also playing with Nier, who never gets off the ballista. It drives me insane. He almost kills me in this one with it. He's absolutely annoying with that. And we're also playing with Hamatime, a new guy I've met. He's a really good engineer. I think he even switches to help teams at some point. You know that's a Chad maneuver right there when you see someone doing that. Just kidding. I do love you, Nier. And we survived quite a long time in this. We haven't died yet, and we're off to a hot start if you didn't notice. Let's get more into the gameplay now. While I have told you guys I'm trying to focus on positioning, which is why we've been using the longsword so much recently, because I feel like that rewards my smart play the most when I'm trying to not just rush in like a madman. And I have to be smarter about disengaging. When I do kind of get to low health and there isn't a 1 versus 1 going on, it's against multiple people, you're going to start seeing me jump back and over teammates. I'm using jumps a lot more to try and do that. There are times if I'm locked in a 1v1, I'm not going to run away because that's a pride thing at that point. Maybe if it was a competitive setting, I wouldn't do that, which is going to be the goal pretty soon. This was really the only thing that was annoying me about this lobby was all the spears we were going up against. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that weapon. Don't listen to people who say there is, because if you're fighting in melee, it's okay. But at the same time, nothing against them individually, but how many spears were on the other team was a little crazy. And here's ZZ17 using the spear behind him. That's the other team's general, as we said. No fear in this guy whatsoever. He's kind of similar to us, like I said. He's going to get in some 1vx's against my team. Muir and Careless are backing us up like always, and we survived by the skin of our teeth here. And that's kind of what I'm talking about in this lobby. We didn't run into each other too much, but he's a problem whenever you're going to run into him. And that'll be stage 1 down. We managed to survive the entire objective. Once you kind of survive the catapult phase and you're not dead to that, I am a little confident Deathless is possible. But it's funny, we're going to lay out for the objective a lot more than usual. And look at this hype just going on right now. Everybody's together and we're going to run in. But yeah, I haven't been stressing the objective as much lately. But this game I did get competitive when I saw that other squad on the other team. And I really did want to go for the win. Rundown really is just such an incredible map. We did a map bracket, and this ended up winning over Lionspire for the #1 spot. I actually think Lionspire is my favorite, but I do think this is considered the best one, and even outside of that bracket, there's not one objective I don't like on this map. And on that note, I really do think this game is at its best when you're fighting in that classical medieval setting or sieging a castle. And it's really encouraging to see that this new update, that's kind of what it's going to be. It's not going to be a Tenosian desert or that kind of thing. What we're getting is it's going to be sieging a castle that's kind of the opposite of Thaic. There's lava and fire is the rumor. You can look it up and see the leaks if you want, but it's also in the lore page. If you go to the front page, it's some kind of citadel. It's called the Burning Citadel. I'm not going to pretend I know anything about the lore in this game. In fact, I'm a little proud of the fact that I don't. But it's kind of like the Masons, like home base, like Thaic Stronghold was for Agatha. But if this is the last update, it does look like they're going out with a bang, which is very exciting to see. And by the way, guys, I don't think that means it's necessarily the end of the game. We could still get battle passes or cosmetics in the future, but even if we don't, there's really no other slasher that can compete with this right now. So even without content, I do think this game is going to last far longer. Hopefully another year, something like that, until we do move on to that next slasher. Now, in terms of actual gameplay, it's taken us a long time to hold this gatehouse and get the capture in, but I'm doing a really good job of picking and choosing my fights to stay alive, not getting too aggressive like I can be known to do a little bit on this channel. And we are doing a good job sticking with the team. It's really encouraging to see that positioning I'm working on, I'm starting to see the results. And this is an example of something I've learned is these look-offs where I was looking to the side of him and he didn't think I can see him and got some free hits in. It's easier in third person, but it's one of those little mind games you can kind of play with people that works way more often than you'd think. And the target switching in group fights is really just so imperative. I'm learning. Again, I've been name dropping him a lot, but he is a trainer in my Discord if you ever want to hit him up. He's happy to help. He's helped me step bow. Strida has videos on this as well if you search on his channel. Definitely, I don't think I have to tell you guys him. He's the biggest creator for this game. Really cool stuff that he can show you for guides. I'm not really known for guides here, but Now we're going to leave this part in where I completely stand still because I do want to shout out my friend Sir Frogbert, my right-hand man in the Discord I keep mentioning. He calls me a Discord main because at this point I am talking way too much in there. Pretty funny that I just stopped during a Deathless run for the sake of answering people. I'm a very social person, so that's kind of where that comes from. But yeah, maybe I should be more focused on staying alive when there is a Deathless run on the line. Not really happy with how passive I'm playing at this point. I'm relying on my team to do the objective a little bit and hang back a lot. I've started to talk about this in recent videos. I really don't stress the objective like I used to because it did take me a long time to accept that if you're sending people to the spawn wave and not respawning yourself, you are doing way more than you ever would just pushing a cart, say on Dark Forest or standing on the siege ramp here. It obviously helps to be on that siege ramp, and definitely you want to be fighting around it, but it's not always on you to just push up and get yourself killed and constantly be looking at that screen. And as I've been playing with viewers and friends more, it's kind of made me realize that sometimes it can be a little too easy to win if you're in a lobby that's not so great, not a standalone. But this one was the exception. I'm giving this archer a few whacks because he was in my way. When you see other good players, especially when they're in their friend group and you're in yours, you do kind of just want to get that win. Not really to rub it in, but just out of respect for each other. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here just because there was a long lull in the action while I was walking around, and then kind of waited my turn to get a health kit because, you know, I always wait in line and thank people who do the same. Quite a few misses here, not exactly invisible man territory, but a lot of missed overheads. And since he's going to get preoccupied with the other teammates I have around me, I'm going to start trying to back up and heal and play smart because, like I said, at this point, we still haven't died, and we're pretty far into the game now. Because I've played this game way too much, I know that there's a health kit in here. And look at this, we're going to come face to face with one other guy on the other team. Now, Deathless run on the line, I'm going to throw the respect emote. We're not going to run away. Too much pride for that. And let's see if we can get this done. Now, that was kind of close. We did have a Warhorn to heal after. Pretty close call there, and kind of an epic moment. We're going to hit him a respect emote as we walk away as well. At this point, I'm feeling invincible and that I can't be touched, and this is where I'm going to get knocked down a few pegs and brought down to earth. Now, Easy Squad over here, he's going to get some guys that are going to put some pressure on me, back me into a corner. This is one of them. Don't let the default skin fool you, and great overhead by him. They corner me, get the kill. Great example here of when pride gets in my way. I'm one hit from almost anything, and I'm not going to back up for some reason. I had a teammate there. Really big mistake to stay there, but it doesn't end up costing us, thankfully. This teammate looked like he was a little newer, not his fault. It's going to come with experience that he doesn't throw a fire pot like that. Maybe not if you guys have seen my fire pot throws. There's a health kit on the ground that we're going to head to, but you'll never guess what happens next. Now I'm going to put myself in a bad position. Like I said, I'm trying to lay out for the objective. Despite how close this is to being pushed up, a minute is not as long as you think, especially if the other side is being defended so well. And I'm trying my best to stay alive and get those last few inches. We're going to die if we have to. It just is what it is at that point. And we're going to make that objective done by the skin of our teeth. Now, I sound like a broken record, but I really do think you guys should pay attention to the positioning, because I'm doing a much better job than I ever have through the 2 years this game has been out than I am lately, with really sticking by all my teammates and not trying to do everything myself or get farm cool clips being addicted to content, right? Now, that last one coming down to the last minute really is a bad sign, because you're going to need killing power to get this courtyard done. So I'm pretty nervous about that. Like I said, I'm trying to play for the win, and I'm starting to press a little bit. I'm staying alive, but I'm on the outskirts of this when I really should be backing up to stay with the team, and it's going to cost us big time. We're really putting a lot of pressure on them, and I do underestimate my friends at times, because they really are really good players, and we're almost capturing this. It's really coming down to it. Like I said, this was just such an epic game. Really just awesome stuff. I'm getting hyped up just through the editing process. Here we're going to run into easy again. Hit them with their respect emote. It's going to be trouble. Now, my teammates are really doing all they can, but a lot of them aren't just as good as me and my friends. There are a lot of new players, but they're doing their best. We're really trying to be the difference makers right now. After a great job by the teammates to capture that courtyard, I really do want to let this last part breathe a little bit, because you are just not going to see a closer ending than this. With just 8 seconds left to go, he's going to make a really clutch play to jump down. He's one shot. I'm going to try and throw my weapons just in case we can get him, but very clutch work. He's one of my favorite streamers to watch. I'm going to put his Twitch in the pinned comment. And if you want to check out the first time we ran into him and talked about him, it'll be in the videos I have linked above in the end cards. We discussed targeting a little bit in that one as well, and how it's a mutual respect kind of thing. Love you guys. See you in the next one. What's going on, guys? It's Seany Salami. Today we're playing with some friends from the Unyielding Discord. That'll be in the pinned comment if you'd like to join. Always looking to get games in with you guys. And we're grouped up with C-Stick Con as well. Me and him switched to defense to help them out, because they were down about 6 people. I got some feedback from my friend Furious. He plays a lot. And a lot of people agreed with him that you guys like to hear my thoughts on the state of the game and not just the commentary in the moment things. And we got off to a pretty slow start on this one. And I'm going to talk about Seasick Khan as an example of what I'm talking about for this next little rant here. He's right next to me. And it's what really brings me back to this game. I would never be level 1000 and have this play time. I'd still play this game pretty regularly, I think, but not as much as I do if it was not for the community. It's absolutely love that this is small enough that a lot of us know each other, almost all of the regulars. And it's also big enough that there's always full games going 24/7 as we give that archer a whack because he got some friendly fire on Khan. So you can build a reputation for yourself just being a good player. Even if you never talk out there, we've probably mentioned you in these in voice chats if we see you enough. But more importantly than that, video games really have taught me that internet friends can be just as real as, or just about as close as a real life friend. And I can give you two examples right on opposite spectrums of this. I mentioned him in my last video. Help Me Stepbo is like an elite comp kind of player. He does competitive, and we get along just because we get along. He doesn't care that I'm a much worse player. He just likes me for me, and that's what I kind of are drawn to about this, is the people who are like that, and that's why I gave love to the Equilibrium. And then there's Seasick Khan, and I don't think I have a friend as loyal in real life as I do as this guy. And it's unreal that I made a friend like that on the internet. That would blow my mind even before I played this game not too long ago. It's just kind of those little things that, I'm not talking about backing me up in a game versus targeting people, stuff like that go after us, as we use the chase mechanic here to catch that archer. If an archer or someone is running from you, usually they're the ones running, however, you will speed up to catch them. Just keep that in mind. If you want to catch up to someone running, you don't want to attack. You want to just keep running until you're in range of your weapon. He gave me some words of wisdom that reminds me of the movie The Town. He told me he will always back me up in a public setting, which obviously on the internet means people I'm beefing with in Discord, which really doesn't happen that much, let's be real. He will always back me up and tell me I'm wrong in private later. It reminds me of that movie The Town, right? When that guy, he comes to his friend and he's like, if I asked you to back me up and come jump these guys, would you do it and not ask questions? And the guy says, whose car are we taking? In other words, that's what I've learned out of this community of Chivalry 2, and that's what will make or break this game at the end of the day, as we get hit with a great overhead drag there, and he thanks us for the commend as well. This really is a stupid, silly sword game, but at the end of the day, it's about those friends we're going to make along the way, and that's what I'm really here for. But that's enough ranting from me. Let's get into the gameplay. And there's a lot of cool moments in this one with Seasick Khan, as I mentioned, because when I said that he's going to back me up, it doesn't just apply to Discord. It does apply to the aforementioned silly sword game. And just to shout out Trader, Trooper, and Doog, they're on the other team. They didn't switch to defense. I'm not going to ask them to do that. But, you know, Khan's going to back me up no matter what. He always is on my team. And we're going to be going against them as they attack. They're having a little bit of trouble on this first objective, though, and it did feel like for a little bit maybe it was a mistake as more people joined. But when they fill up the game completely and it's 32 versus 32, they're going to get a lot more even. Right now, though, it is kind of in our favor, but the game does go almost the whole distance. Khan hates archers, by the way, so we will go in deep to kill one every time, and I will have his back. That's going to be a little bit of the theme of this video, is talking about in-game stuff as well, where you want to back up your friends. Just kind of funny moments that we have. Fight here 1 versus 1. I have a little trouble with the one-handed sword when people slash into feint stab. I do have trouble with feints on one-handers in general. They can be a big problem for me. It's something I'm trying to work on, especially with blunt weapons like the mace, Warhammer, and Morningstar. Little bit of a problem, especially because I'm a knight main. Check this out. So someone's going to go for a special on me and I excel through it. Little bit of tough move there to hold my ground. I wouldn't actually recommend that. I think you should hold block in that circumstance. But now we get a little surrounded and that'll be that. As much as I love playing for the win, I did kind of throw this here just because they didn't really have enough people on their team that were pulling their weight. And we do want to give them a chance, so we kind of let it fill up to the 32 versus 32, which it does at this next objective. Nice fight here against this heavy mace. This guy was giving me some fits. Great drags by him throughout the whole game. And we get it done there. but I do this sometimes if it's a little too early in the map. I think fair is fair, because right there it's 21 versus 22, but we'll play for the win later. I really do think they hit it out of the park with the snow map. I know this update did get a little hate. I know there's some content creators, and Strider comes to mind, he doesn't love this map. I think it's amazing, and I think they did a really good job. There are certain objectives can be a little annoying. In particular, the stop the cranks phase to open the drawbridge can be a bit much. But overall, I think they really did a good job. I'll be pointing this out a few times, but here's a perfect example. This madman's gonna overhead, just jump right into combat after he finishes his fight he won. He saw me in danger, he's backing me up. I didn't even realize this happened in real time, which is why you see me walking away, and I look in the editing process, and he didn't say this while we were playing. It's just what he's about, and he knows that's what I'm about too. So sorry when you're watching, Con, that was a mistake, but I think you'll be proud of me because I was trying to go after that archer as well. And to be clear, I do love talking about my friends, don't get me wrong, but the point I'm trying to make about this video in particular, this game really is just a social thing to me despite my way too many hours in it. And that's what brings me back. So it's about the individual moments. You'll see some TikToks of me, like, we'll just get into fighting spawn waves together, not just with him, with other friends as well. And I think it's long overdue that I point this out more, because it's back and forth here. I don't know about you guys, but I always love the fights when you're using the same weapon as the other person. It doesn't get any more fair than that, and we come out on top there. Good fight. When I record, I try not to bother archers too much. I will when I'm not. I've always said they're fair game. But this is a little different. This is the theme of the video after all. And if Khan's in it, I have no choice but to do it with him. You got to back up your friends, as I said. We will take the hate for that out of loyalty. And we're going to get in a nice fight here with a good Maul player. He did pretty well in this one. I was using my best weapon. I was pretty confident I could win despite having not a lot of health, and I crouched to keep my distance and then do a nice little overhead to get that done. And that's something I haven't pointed out a little bit. So crouching is a good thing to do if you're fighting one-handers in particular, or you have a good distance on your weapon. What you want to do is crouch when you're attacking, because it'll stop your forward momentum from the attack. Another example is we see Khan's friend icon way in deep. I'm sure he was trying to kill that archer. That's what he does. Fuck the forward spawn, excuse my language. We're avenging our guy here. We're not able to do that, but we do get the archer. I'm sure he was going after her. I forget if he said it. An awesome move by this guy. They're going to just let me take care of that. And one even joins in on the fun. Archers, as I said, always fair game. This is archer behavior where he's not going to get his melee weapon and stop him from destroying the banners. And then he takes out his melee weapon once I'm already in the fight so he could steal the kill. Typical selfish just mindset these guys have. From this point forward, I'm not going to point it out every single time, but I see the friend icon marching a certain death. There's a catapult coming. So it was all for naught, but this is what we're the theme of the video, and you guys know I'm going to do this no matter what. I've talked about it. Positioning is number one. That's how you get better, and it's one of the most, if not the most important skill. And I have a friend, Rebellions, who's actually talked about this. He's a monster, by the way, level 1000. He said that positioning is very important to a point. Sometimes you look soft, and this guy got a message for this. Great drag. Check that out. That is textbook, amazing drag. I fall for it. Great work. Here I'm holding my own against 3 players. Do really good work here, and then backup comes, and I really did a good job to counter these overheads and slashes going on at the same time, just enough for the backup to come in and save the day. That was a tough time right there. We live to fight another day. That's always getting a thank you all around for me. I turn around in every direction as well. Typical mall main behavior, the biggest chads in the game. He's going to go take down this banner, live or die. He knows he's going to die. There's a lot of people around, but he gets that done, lays out for the team, and some crunch time. There's only 45 seconds left as well. Two nice drags. I'll hit them with their respect emote. They got me earlier as well. That was them. We're going to try and get them done. Not run from the fight. We do have backup, so it would have been kind of a good time to leave, just because now it's not exactly fair regardless. They're going to down me. At this point, I can leave. That's fine. Going to get some hits in and then get a revive. Good stuff. Another example where I'm trying to counter and hang on for dear life. This time, we don't live to fight another day. I hope they realize this is lighthearted trolling. If someone goes for too many kicks, I emote no to tell them, no, that's not going to work, not going to happen. I hope that's not taken personally by people, because I feel like this game is a little humorous, pretty often actually, and it just kind of fits the theme of no, like he says it in that deep voice. Not really much chance we're going to get this secured here. We have a weak weapon for slashing, even though it is quick. But I want to open some space for the team at the very least. I have been playing much more Vanguard recently, and that's kind of getting me in the habit of making too many feints. Those are okay to use a lot more on Vanguard, but when you're a knight and you get less stamina, that's not something I really should be doing, and it's going to lead to a disarm. I get a weaker weapon, and we can't get it done. We pick it up a little bit here, and it's making a big difference on this last stage. I was on a little bit of a death streak. As I said, I was in a voice chat. If you guys notice, by the way, if you've been in game and see me even go close to negative at times, I'm usually talking to my friends. I don't know what that's about. I can't really do two things at once. This is our friend, by the way, and we're going to say sorry because he doesn't want the smoke. Trader Trooper, you're soft for that. Just kidding. It's fine. We're going to let him heal and get back into some other fights. And that guy's going to get me with a grit drag again. That's a savage heavy mace drag. I'm trying to pick and choose who I'm attacking here. But now we're defending the courtyard, so I don't want someone to get too far ahead. And the team's starting to die a little bit, so that kind of worked out that we backed up. That wasn't even a conscious, intentional thing. Getting a little overextended, though, now. And we go for a heal. This is exactly what I'm talking about the individual moments making the game, and as well as friendships. Me and Connor by ourselves here. We're going to stand our ground. He has that same mentality I do, as we don't give up here. Get back up. We're not going to run. That's soft. And there's some teammates here, and we're going to take out as many of them as we can before we die. Now, I'm an honest man. If I wasn't, I would have cut out the rest of it. That's a whole spawn wave down. Let's go. We're not able to take out the second one. But, you know, maybe I'll edit that and make myself look better than I am and turn it into a YouTube short. You heard it here first. They're going to run out of time here, and we're going to go in a little deep to flex. That's another win. Hard not to win when you have the power of friendship. Am I right, guys? And if you want to check out some related videos, we got another one, speaking of friends, where we play with the two best console players and also good friends, Lousy and Spicy Pancakes. I'm doing some player showcases, so check out that playlist up above as well. Love you guys. See you in the next one. What's going on, guys? It's Seany Salami. Today I'm using the Heavy Mace on Galencourt, and I'm going to show you how I play the Heavy Mace. It's probably not the best way to play it, and it really can lead to a ton of deaths, which I do get, but it's really fun, and I just have a blast doing this. And as always, the Discord is in the pinned comment. I love you guys so much. I really appreciate all the support. Won't ever take it for granted. And let's get in the gameplay, and I'll give you my little kind of guide, but, you know, mostly gameplay. This will be a full Galencourt game of how I play this weapon. Now, this works with a few weapons. The two-handed hammer and Executioner's Axe come to mind as well, but I mostly do it with this one. Is you want to go into crowds, look for a counter, and just heavy swing, because even though it has hit stop as a blunt weapon, that doesn't apply when you use a heavy swing, and you are going to get a lot of kills and takedowns. However, you're going to do a lot of deaths, and I was messing around with my sensitivity again because I'm trying aim assist on and off, because I'll link the setting videos again at some point. I always had aim assist off, and I've been messing around with it on because Spicy Pancakes told me it comes down to preference, and, you know, I always say he's the best console player, so I trust him, and I'm giving that a go. So please forgive me, even though this is a kind of thing you could do a lot of team damage with. That really wasn't what I usually do when I play like this, but I was throwing caution to the wind, and it kept happening. By the way, I forgot to mention I'm playing with a Riot Act. Awesome guy, great teammate, and more importantly, good friend. So while I'm watching this, it really does seem like the aim assist thing really is kind of a preference. I can see where it would mess with my muscle memory just because I've had it off for a while. But I do want to maybe update that settings video. Let me know if you'd be interested in that, because I think what I've learned from talking to more people about settings from console players is that more of it does come down to preference than I think. So that's just a little side note. Like, I turned my dead zone all the way down. I turned my sensitivity way up, but my friend, like Froggy Got Jokes, for example, his sensitivity isn't very high. But anyway, that's not really about this video, but just something I wanted you guys to keep an eye out for. And again, I just did so much team damage, and that's why. So again, it's not, you guys know I don't usually do it like that, so please forgive me. Now, don't get it twisted. The Heavy Mace has won duel tournaments, I believe. I think some of the best players use it in duels, and it's a great weapon all around. So don't think this is the optimal way to play it, because like I said, like I was pointing out, I just beat that guy with the overheads a second ago. This is not the ideal way to play it. It's just the most fun, in my opinion, by far. So if you're a competitive player, you're probably not watching me for guides. I'm like a casual player, even though I got a lot of hours. But this is just the most fun, is basically what I'm saying. And here's the first example where you could see where I start to like swing it in a crowd a little bit. Especially when there's a lot of knights on the other team with that multiplier against knights and footmen. It is devastating. You feel like Sauron in Lord of the Rings. You remember, like, in the beginning of the movie when he's like, he shows up and everyone's scared shitless and he's just swinging through and making people go flying. That's what you feel like, and it's a lot of fun. Really solid 1vx action here. This is just what the Heavy Mace can do in this situation. Now I chase down this last guy, which I forget if this worked, actually. So he uses holding block. Okay, cool. And now, for good measure, we get an archer. I'm probably going to die at this point, right? Yeah, but I mean, we got some archers. That's worth it. And this... So this is what I mean. Don't care about your deaths, man. Just rush in, die, move on. It's fun. Like, that's how you play this weapon. So here I apparently think I can counter the most obvious special attack ever, and it gets me killed. Not a great decision there. I don't know what I was thinking. Incredible drag here. Very good job by him with the Executioner's Axe, and I bite. Great kill. Now, in real time, I realized I was bloodthirsting and just going for too many kills. So at this point, I'm going to make a conscious effort to be closer to the boat, because I was just getting a little too in love with all these heavy swings with this heavy mace like I keep talking about. This guy's, I think, kills me, and he always laughs at me, this spear guy. I don't know what his problem is, but it is what it is. It wasn't his kill either. So a really nice mega kill here, and then we get another one-on-one. I'm almost dead, but this guy seemed pretty good. So great job by him to get the kill. He was pretty aggressive. I like to see that. Some nice drags, and then he mixes up with an excel and gets me. I've seen that guy a lot. I don't think he laughed at me on purpose, so we'll give him a pass for that while he's running away. Now, this is textbook what I'm talking about. We see a ton of people under the boat that are kind of like have their weapons down for a second. We do die, but we get 3 kills, triple kill very quickly. So now again, we know we're going to die here, but we're going to take as many as we can down with us, especially archers. We love killing archers. And we do get some kills, so we get hit stop on a teammate there, not good. That was kind of my fault. But we're bobbing and weaving, look at that. But the barrel gets us and we get killed by a halberd. Again, just piling up the deaths, hilariously out of position, but we actually get some backup, which is funny. They kind of came with us, but we're not really stressing it. We're piling up numbers, so it's, even though we're getting a lot of deaths, it's fun. And you know, we're playing for the win. The team seems pretty good, so it's going not too bad. So this is just continuing the devastating damage that heavy mace does on these knights, but honestly, like I said, this is why I don't do this that often. This is going to lead to a lot of bad habits if I were to do this a lot, because you're going to put up the numbers, but it's really not something you're going to be able to do in a good lobby, like, or if you were playing comp or something, this would never work. But as long as you have like a newer player or like a worse player feeding you counters, it's going to work. So when there's a few lower levels, it's just it's really pretty consistent. Nice 1v3 there. I think, oh no, the team comes and I just keep hitting them over and over again. I'm doing endless team damage after they even helped me survive. And I clipped that, so that's why I stopped for a second. So yeah, this is absolutely the most deaths I've ever had on video, and quite frankly, it's the most deaths I can remember having in a very long time. But it's also one of the highest takedown games I've had, because I don't often play like this. I could probably get more if I did this more, but it just leads to bad habits. Like I said, it's not really a good way to play, but a fun way to play. I've said that a few times now, but that's why when you see at the end, the stats are going to look pretty inflated, because it really just, it's not a smart thing to do how I'm doing this. But I highly recommend doing it to unwind after work now and then, guys. It's just like you're mowing the lawn. It's pretty funny looking back at this because I think that reckless mindset kind of got adapted to even when I wasn't heavy swinging crowds, because my positioning is just awful in this game. If you want a guide on how to position better in the battlefield and like where you should be standing at all times, use this and do the opposite, because I don't know what I'm doing in this, but again, it was fun. It's disappointing looking back. Like sometimes I am cringing seeing some of the things I did in this. But like I said, in real time, it was a lot of fun playing with Ride Act and really good match. This is me coping right now, talking about this while I just watch these deaths just continue to go up. So that's how I like to play the heavy meats, guys, and we come out with a win. Great game. We outkilled them a lot on defense. Really fun one. Great game with the Riot Act, and Jesus Christ, 35 deaths. At least it was 140 takedowns. Love you guys. Bye.